everybody, and welcome to episode 332 of the Saturnstuds podcast. I'm Kurt, joined once again this week by my future murderer co-hosts Peter and Jake.
That's right, Kurt. And we are here today on the day off edition of the cast, where we take two of the hottest Hollywood celebrities, and we just give them a vacation day because they are so overworked and so put upon, but they have to say to the camera before they do it, they say day off.
And of course, those Hollywood celebrities are Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. Just
love them.
Purely coincidence that it was those two.
I saw a comment somewhere saying that they should just remake Face Off every few years with like two of the latest celebrities. Just the same movie.
No, they should just remake it with Nick Cage and John Travolta every 2 years.
I like his meta work. They should do something where it's like the making of Face Off, and then maybe they do like a story behind it where
behind the
he
face.
actually has that, like he tries to do it. Like it's like the movie was more a proof of concept than it was a story. And we're actually going to try it in this movie. We're going to try to take my face off. Man, love it.
That's the prequel to what? Botched? That was the show, right?
The one with the bad plastic surgery.
Yeah. Botched.
Sure was.
This and we'll try and keep this show from being botched.
Yeah. And as always, we're coming at you live. This is a hard one to do. So I'm just going to say we're doing it at the airport, the wonderful, delectable airport, and we're just going to see who lands. They got some stuff set up. We're on the tarmac. We're on the runway.
There's rumblings that it'll be a certain Mr. Yankovic.
Yeah, might be Mr. Yankovic. Might be Daniel Radcliffe dressed up as Mr. Yank. Might be
Mr.
the
Yankovic.
Naked Gun, the Naked Gun himself. You know, coming off the runway.
Yeah.
Remington Nude.
Remington
what a
Steele.
both excellent romance names.
Yeah.
Just like Willis Money Quest.
So with that out of the way in record time, normally I save plugs like this towards the end of the show, but I implore anyone listening to this on a podcatcher of choice to check out the YouTube version of the podcast, as we have done some big work to improve the video version of this podcast, and think you will all enjoy what you see on that. So y'all don't know about that yet, but
you might enjoy it.
Your kids
listen
are gonna
to
love
us. Listen and see us. It's an audio visual treat.
Yeah.
Come and look at my shoe boxes.
Come
There
find
are
us.
3 different colors. Can you guess which ones they are? If you can guess,
Come see my arcade cabinet.
you can come to my house and just sniff them. You know,
Look.
I'll open them up and you can sniff everything that's inside them.
I got a deal. You go to YouTube, you watch our video, you find that link, you find that secret sneaky link to our OnlyFans, you find that bonus content. You know what I'm talking about?
You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm saying.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm saying.
We should do like an OnlyFans or something like that where we like stream movie nights and we say, hey, come watch a movie with me. Spelled CUM or something like that, you know, because it's OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then we just watch like shit that we put up on Plex. Or
is there no fee to start OnlyFans?
to start one? Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's free, I'm all for starting a joke OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see if there's
Joke.
if there is safer work content on OnlyFans.
There
I'm gonna
is
hang
supposed
dog
to
on
be.
Twitch one of these days, because apparently that's a recognized growth strategy.
That's how we get big, figuratively and literally.
Big like my dong that I'm gonna hang.
I think there is like safe for work stuff on OnlyFans because
Yeah,
there was
like-
there was a fleeting moment where OnlyFans I think was getting like possibly bought out by somebody.
They were gonna get like an app or something.
And they had to be family friendly or some sort of they had to like tone it down. And there's like people like fisting their buttholes on that app, on that website, like for $5. It's amazing. It's like the value on that site is impeccable. Like you only get that kind of like content on like premium
for
websites.
$5
now you
$5
have-
and a nickel.
You know,
You
have
can
every
watch 3 women play the cup and ball game with their assholes.
yeah,
Shuffle them around, find the
The
so
shell
many
game.
different things.
I'd call it the Michelle game, where they're all named
They're all named
Michelle.
Michelle. and My Michelle by fucking Guns N' Roses is the music and all of it.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's so
If
many.
anyone steals that
so many
idea, we
things.
will sue.
I'm looking at you, Blumhouse.
You can only get your classic Ariana Grande lookalike parody accounts doing porn on OnlyFans. It's fantastic.
So
And that's a beautiful place.
note about that one. Everyone's on the same page here, right? That the porn parody name for Ariana Grande is Areola Grande, right? That only makes sense.
Yeah.
I think she has a real name, but as long as I'm plugging her, I might as well.
Is it not Ariana Grande?
Oh, it's a lookalike.
Oh, I'm not familiar with this person.
She's got
I just
flag.
I threw the name out there. I did not. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but I did not plan.
Aerial.
I did not plan
Paige
any of
Neiman. Her name is Paige Neiman, and I believe she has an OnlyFans
Okay.
or something.
I do trust you as the authority of the three of us on that.
Jake has the
Okay.
focused look of a professional right now.
All right.
Wait,
well,
which one is which?
just like Jake's a pro at getting down to business on OnlyFans, we're pros at getting down to business on Traywatch, our trailer review and roundup segment. And it was a big week this week, so we took precautions to make this not a 6-hour Traywatch.
We hit
And
the
we're just
mercy
going to
rule.
gloss over everything that was on D23. There's a lot of D23 shit.
A lot of controversial stuff. A lot of mediocre stuff.
Well,
lot
I think the controversy surrounding the Little Mermaid stuff was like already hashed out at the announcement.
Yeah.
You would think so. I've been hearing a lot about it.
Well, I guess maybe enough time had passed from the announcement that people forgot that was going to be a thing.
And now it's like in full gear. Like those were just like little articles that were posted here and there that like they did casting and it's a name popped up, but if you didn't look into the name, you realize a black lady. And now they actually come out with it, and we have to see it to believe it. And everybody's like, I never. This is white erasure. That's not like the Danish fanfic that got written.
Well,
I mean, it's a mermaid.
it is kind of odd in a sense that like this is the one change that they made with all the Disney live action movies. You know, like they were all more or less like yeah, that kind of looked like the cartoon version of the character.
I mean,
part.
This specifically maybe, but they made a lot of changes to these live action.
Well,
I'm
just like with at least as far as like the Disney princesses go, you know, Emma Watson, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see the resemblance to Belle in the animated picture. Mulan, I forget the actress who played her, but you're like, yeah, okay, I can see the resemblance.
But Mulan, they totally fucked up the story.
Yes,
it was
they
a
totally
completely
fucked
different
up the story. Like,
it's like
I'm purely speaking from a visual standpoint.
yeah, I get it. I mean, no, it. So I looked at this from like a different perspective, and it's like there's kind of a outlook of like, do you want to have like a blind, all inclusive, like whatever casting when it comes to this? Whoever's the best singer. Look at it from two perspectives. If you come out with a white actress as Ariel, okay, nobody bats an eyelash.
No one would
whatever.
care,
It's the
yeah.
same old. Nobody cares. And then you have to assume, okay, maybe she was just the best person for that role. But now we have this black girl who appeared very, very talented in the bit that we saw. We'll have to wait till it fully comes out, obviously. But who's not to say that she wasn't the best pick for it in like a blind, no racial things taken
It's like
into account.
the Voice, right?
Yeah, there is the obvious kind of like cynical take where this was done to stir up controversy and get people talking about this movie, because the last few Disney live action remakes have kind of been meh.
So
considering
meh, but they made fucking gangbusters though.
Did
monetarily,
Mulan
yeah,
make a lot of money? I think that was kind of a financial disappointment for Disney.
Possibly.
Of course,
in
that was a pandemic thing, more so than anything else.
It did come out on Disney Plus.
Wasn't Mulan? Didn't they like charge
that was the
$30
premium
to watch it
access
at
one,
home?
yeah, $30 to watch that fucking movie. And they all made Dumbo
$70 million.
Dumbo didn't make a ton of money.
But I don't. Was that
relative
released in
to
movies? But like Lion King, the one that everybody shit on
Lion
for like
King
CG, made a ton of money.
It made over $1 billion.
I think Beauty and the Beast made a lot of money too.
They were printing money for a while, but a couple of them didn't. Like the Dumbo one didn't make a ton of money. Mulan, largely due to external factors, didn't make a ton of money. Lady and the Tramp and Pinocchio, they just shat on the Disney Plus immediately. They didn't even want to try that.
I've heard a lot of. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of dumping on Pinocchio.
Yeah, the things that they're coming out in theaters that they want to be theatrical releases, which I'm assuming that Little Mermaid was going to be theatrical release, like of their main showcase. Like Aladdin was in there too. I think Aladdin also made a good amount of money. Was Dumbo Disney Plus or was that in theaters too?
No, that was before Disney Plus
before
existed.
Disney Plus even existed.
Oh, okay.
That one had Danny DeVito in it.
Danny DeVito.
Casey Jr. coming down the track.
Aladdin made $1 million. That was right before COVID.
$1 billion, maybe.
Sorry, billion.
Made $1 million.
I said $1 million with a B. Okay, $1 billion. Yeah, I made $1 billion. So that was fine. That was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean,
there's that.
Whatever.
Disenchanted, the Enchanted sequel, which kind of. When I saw that this was a movie, I was like, I don't know that concept really has legs for a sequel, but they kind of turn it on its head and try to like the plot is she fucking like is upset living in the real world and wants to go back and bring the fairy tale to the real world.
Right, and becomes like becomes the evil stepmother in the process.
Yeah. So that's a kind of an interesting take on it. I just gotta say though, James Marsden does not age.
Oh yeah, the Prince or whatever. Yeah, the Prince.
He like I was watching X-Men 2. I was finishing that the other day, and I'm like, he looks the exact same as he does today. This man is the fucking ageless wonder.
He's got the
Kristen was like, wow, Patrick Dempsey looks old. And then James Marsden came out, and she's like, he does not look any different from the first one. So we got so real quick, burning through some of the Disney Studios stuff. We got Hocus Pocus 2, which is
the first trailer. We saw the teaser for that.
Yeah,
a while
we saw
back.
some teaser stuff. We got first trailer for that. It confirmed she is skating around on Roombas. We got Haunted Mansion. Little was known about this. I think they just announced that there's one of the cast members or something like that. Wish, Peter Pan and Wendy, a new movie called Owaju. I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's going to be in 2023. Big one, Mufasa, the Lion King. So prequel to the Lion King.
Oh boy.
Didn't
Because
didn't need it.
for reasons we just stated, it made all the dollars.
Yeah. And then in 2024, we're gonna get Snow White. Pixar showed some more stuff about Elemental. There's a new movie called Helio coming out eventually, and Inside Out 2 coming in 2024.
Endless
yeah.
content.
Some minor
Endless burnout for the VFX teams.
Yeah, right. Minor stuff from Lucasfilm. We got Tales of the Jedi, new trailer for that. We got Willow, the Bad Batch announcement, and then Indiana Jones 5. And some minor stuff for Marvel.
Treasure series coming out as well. I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, the stuff from Marvel.
Werewolf by Night came out with a trailer that's premiering on Disney Plus October 7th. It looks artistic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Secret Invasion is coming out. I wonder if they use that as an opportunity to get the Fantastic Four on screen, or at least tease it more. Because the Skrull invasion was a Fantastic Four joint. You know, Super
They
Skrull.
just gave it to Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like Super Skrull is an amalgam of the Fantastic Four. When I think of the Skrulls, I think of the Fantastic Four. So there's that. We got a new the Willow TV series. We got a trailer for that. Percy Jackson's in the Olympians, which you know, they made a big mistake not casting Moist Critical as Percy Jackson.
Definitely.
That just occurred to me. Like, yeah, I was like, why do they have Percy Jackson? It's because they have Fox now. For 20th Century Studios.
Which hopefully this comes out. I read the first couple Percy Jackson books. I liked Greek mythology, and they were all right. I did not see the original movie. I did not hear great things about it.
Yeah, I heard it was not a good adaptation.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we got the Andor season 1 trailer. I'm sure everyone's excited about that. And of course,
the movie that was so impactful that they had to re-release the movie was based on to get people to remember who this was about.
Remember who this is? Andor, your favorite.
And of course, everyone's most anticipated series, The Santa Clauses, starring none other than or featuring none other than Peyton Manning.
Yeah, and they talk a lot about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. It is a Disney Plus series, so it's right there, not in theaters. Kind of a diversion from that.
So is that a reboot of the Santa Claus?
I think it's a continuation.
It's a continuation.
They got Tim Allen back for it. I think he's like, I'm overworked. I need to hire some new Santa Clauses.
Yeah, the gimmick is Tim Allen's retiring, and he's gonna.
He's
retiring, and he needs a
take
replacement.
Over his movie franchise as he becomes an executive producer.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, the basic gist of it. I don't think there's really that much more.
Disney Plus subscribers are going to have a nice content dump over the next year or so.
Yeah.
So have fun with that. I'm sure some of it will sneak up and be decent. A lot of it, I'm sure, will just be content for the sake of content.
I think the things that I'm looking most forward to is Werewolf by Night for something a little bit different. It's all shot in black and white. Hopefully, it's not like a pull one over on us. I'm also looking forward to the Tales of the Jedi and the Ahsoka series.
I'm not terribly interested by much of what they showed off. I think there's a chance the National Treasure show is decent. I was a big fan of it's cheesy and cornball looking at it now, but as a kid I was a big fan of the first National Treasure movie. And I think that show has the potential to be decent. And I will watch the Percy Jackson thing.
Yeah.
I
will say
have high hopes, but I'll watch it.
My only word on this is the fact that National Treasure is now a Disney property.
It always was.
I did not realize it always was.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was part of 20th century. Okay, well then that kind of validates my point because I was going to say like Disney is forever. They've always wanted to like have like a really prominent and good like America section at Disneyland. Like they have like the Hall of Presidents and stuff.
Oh yeah, Main
But
Street USA is the whole like
yeah,
Americana in the 50s sort of.
and they've always been wanting to like push that, or so I understand. But like, so having like a national treasure, like having the national treasure ride or something like that,
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know why they haven't done that before.
I think what would
like have a
push-
national treasure escape room on like some escape rooms on Main Street
That'd be
USA.
pretty interesting.
That would be fucking cool.
I think what would push it for me over the edge would be if they get Indiana Jones to do a crossover with
Oh,
fucking National Treasure. That'd be
So you
could.
see the
They
thing.
could.
Well, I mean, you could, but you couldn't, because Indiana Jones takes place in the 30s and the 40s, and National Treasure took place like when it came out, so like in 2006.
well. They just have Shia LaBeouf rebuff his role.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf his role
Well,
back into the
Shia
new Indiana
LaBeouf is he's a different person now.
Is he blacklisted after?
I don't know that he's blacklisted. He just does weird shit now. Like,
because
what was the last
got-
time he was in The Taxman?
well, he was supposed to be in the Olivia Wilde's new movie. Shit, what the
Don't
fuck
Worry,
is the
Darling.
name? Yeah, Don't Worry, Darling, and he got fired, or he quit. I don't know which one. There's conflicting messages.
Judging from everything I've heard about what went down on set for that movie, I think it's more likely he quit than got fired.
Yeah,
Because if fucking all the people who were in that movie didn't get fired for their grotesque behavior on set, I can't imagine that Shia LaBeouf did anything that would get him canned.
imagine there's just a 24/7 fuck fest on set and off.
That's just theater kids. It's
That's
just any theater kid
kids.
joint.
The casual theater kid orgy. Speaking of theater kid orgies, the School for Good and Evil sure seems like
You
it's
know
a
what?
really
I'll
great
take
spot
it. That's
for
A+.
some fanfic theater kid orgies. I don't even know if we were going to talk about this movie, but fuck
We
it.
are
This is
now,
the
I
first.
guess.
It's the first full trailer for this shit. I did not realize it was going to be about like straight up Cinderella and Snow White, but Hogwarts style.
Yeah.
Kind of silly.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
can feel the YA waves just coming, just washing over me
Yeah,
off of
this-
this trailer.
This fucking glows neon fucking fandom with a capital F.
This is somebody's
Bait.
fucking dirty fan fiction, dirty furry fanfic turned into, and there is a furry in here. I saw Wolfman, I think, turned into movie, and I'm upset because I'm like,
Mhm.
where's Harry? Where
Yeah,
are you?
that's
Where's
it.
Voldemort?
It's so like on the nose what it is. I mean,
People are
it's
people in
not
the comments are trying to be like, it's more. You have to watch it. Like it's not what you think it is. I'm like, is it them like determining that like the system is actually evil and they're gonna like rebel against it or whatever?
well, I guess there was a book, right?
Mhm.
And the book has its fans, as most YA novels do. And yeah, there are comments like this one from Free Always. Guys, in all caps, this isn't Ever After High, Descendants, or anything like that. You have to actually read the book. But what these people don't realize is there's a chance that they don't adapt the book super well, and it turns into Ever After High or The
Or
Descendants, or
Descendants
something
or-
like that. Like, just because the book wasn't a thing doesn't mean the movie is going to be like the book. Ask
Also,
anyone who's read a book that was turned into a movie.
also, making a movie
Artemis Fowl.
about a book and saying you have to read the book in order to get it defeats the fucking purpose. Sure, you
even-
can read the book and like add that to your movie experience.
Even
but
good
no.
movies, like good book adaptations for movies, like have things about them that, like, personally, I like the American Psycho movie, but the book is a lot better because it does a much better job of leaving it up to the reader whether or not Patrick Bateman's crazy and all this shit's in his head. In the movie, they kind of like really push the idea, oh yeah, he's crazy, it's all in his head. But the book does a better job of
It's a little more ambiguous.
keeping you ambiguous. And No Country for Old Men, similarly, they really kind of do a better job in the book of leaving it up to the reader if Anton Chigurh killed fucking God Josh Brolin's character's wife at the end of the movie. But in the movie, you know, he's checking his shoes for blood, so you just kind of are left with the assumption, oh yeah, he killed her.
Right.
So like even in good movies based on books, they change shit. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Nothing is adaptation.
Nothing's sacred, damn it.
That's why Lord of the Rings was so popular, because it was one of the more uncommon
Faithful
instances
adaptations,
of a really good adaptation.
Harry Potter
then they
movies,
had-
similarly, I guess. I never read any of the Harry Potter books, so I can't comment.
And then they had to go fuck it up and put black elves in there. Come on, Rings of Power. What are you doing?
From what I have seen / read about Rings of Power, that is the least of its problems.
Yeah. It's a joke. It's a joke, everybody. Don't cancel me on Twitter. I didn't mean it. It's a bad show because of other reasons.
It's a
Not
bad
because
The
show
of,
'cause
dwarves.
of
It's because of the
bad
dwarves,
writing.
right?
because of the not because of the blelves. I'm not a blelv. I'm not a blacist.
Placist.
A black elf racist.
World of Warcraft taught me that they should have been purple instead.
Well, that's
It
Dark
is
Elves,
funny
isn't
though
it?
with the.
Or Night
It
Elves.
is funny though with that
Yeah.
commentary. Like, oh yeah, you can have fucking wizards and dwarves and elves, but God
most-
forbid they be a different.
The most
shade.
mythical creature of all, a black
The
person.
black person.
I understand the point though that like Tolkien specifically called out elves as being of fair skin, and you know it's kind of disrespectful maybe to
Yeah, fuck him.
change his work to suit your
Hey.
modern sensibilities.
Hey, fuck him. He's dead.
But his
That's what I
fans
gotta say
aren't.
about fuck them too.
Well, you
Fuck
want
the
them to
fans.
watch your show, so
Well,
maybe
fuck 'em.
don't.
Fuck them. The people who want to see some fucking black elves will come out and watch the movie or watch the show. That's who will. You know, because a lot of fucking people showed up and watched the garbage fire that was the last season of Game of Thrones. And they're making more shit out of that.
Well, I've heard
they're
good
dragging
things
it up.
about House of Dragon.
House of Dragon is great. I'm saying the last season of Game of Thrones is
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Well,
if that's any indicator that this thing shouldn't continue with HBO, it's like that the last season, last
My-
couple seasons
yeah,
of Game of Thrones
my-
was a big indicator.
I think the broader point here is that
Don't put black elves in your show.
bad writing is more harmful than any casting choice.
Make sure your women dwarves have beards.
And make sure you're Bruce Willis.
has
has
his
good
earpiece
one-liners.
in. Has his- for his
Uh,
line delivery.
Detective Knight Rogue. It's the latest Bruce Willis thingy.
Which I think this one escaped our radar. I think in all the times
I think we said something about it while I was looking up the filmography. I'm like, oh, Detective Knight Rogue, that's coming out later. We'll catch that one.
I don't recall this one, but I feel like I've said that about 7 of these Bruce Willis movies.
Mhm.
There's just too many to remember.
If you ask me any of them, I'm gonna say I don't know any of them. I've already forgotten Detective Knight
I'd
Rogue.
believe you if you just threw out a random movie title and said this is a Bruce Willis Lionsgate movie. I would probably say yeah, sure.
Oh, we're all going
Mhm.
to see that new Bruce Willis movie, Save Me at the Operas tonight, Daddy Bruce. Oh yeah,
Yeah, of course.
I think I saw that trailer.
I remember that trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He just had a supporting role though.
they could only get him for a scene.
Yeah. He This one is more memorable to me though because he has an actual one-liner in the trailer.
Yeah. Trick or
And
treat.
so I'm gonna hold on to that like a little precious gem.
So there was it reminds me of this fucking Thanksgiving based or maybe it was just a killer turkey horror movie, and the
Mhm.
one liner from that is "gobble gobble, motherfucker."
Yeah. Was that Thanksgiving?
It was something dumb like that. I never watched the whole movie, but I saw
God, I hope
the
so.
fucking scene where it's like "gobble gobble, motherfucker."
Thanks. That's gotta be.
Speaking of bad movies or
It's a series.
bad cinema.
Excuse you. Thanksgiving was a cinematic masterpiece. Gobble
Something
gobble,
that would have been
motherfucker's
produced
right
by
up there.
Spielberg himself.
It's right up there with
Um,
Yippee Ki motherfucker, in terms of famous one-liners.
I'm putting Babylon and The Fablemans together because they're different shades of what I'm gonna call cinema wank. Which is movies about how cool movies are and how cool Hollywood is. And the people who make movies are actually really cool people, and you should love them because they're so nice. And
I think
movies
the
are the best
Fablemans
thing
is
ever.
the opposite of that, actually. I think the point of the Fablemans is that the mother is an awful mother because she's obsessed with her stardom.
The mother? I thought it was about the son. The Fablemans was about the son who was like he wanted to make the movies.
Yeah, but the mother's a starlet, isn't she?
No, I thought she gave up on her dreams. She's like playing the piano in her room, and the grandpa's like, she could have been a concert pianist.
Well, I mean,
But it's the Spielberg. This is the life. This is Spielberg's version of his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's about it's like any movie that goes. I wouldn't say it's like, oh yeah, they're the best people because they make the movies. It's just about a kid that's into filmmaking.
But it's I don't know. There's something about it that
I
goes.
wouldn't call Cinema Paradiso cinema wank because it features a character that's into filmmaking or is a filmmaker later in life.
It's just trying to self-fillet themselves. They're like, no, we're truly our artists. Like, don't you see the shots that we're setting up and the lighting, man?
Isn't there like some award seasons coming up?
Yes, the Emmys just happened.
Okay.
And the Oscars are in January.
Shout out to Lizzo for winning an Emmy.
Yeah, for a show that I never heard of.
For that thing she was in.
There's a lot
Watch
of
Out for Big Girls is the name of the show.
Oh, is it really?
I don't. All I know about the Emmys is Jimmy Kimmel did a fucking joke that pissed people off.
Oh yeah, he said he was.
He pretended to die on stage and just laid there during an award
just went
presentation.
Limp. Well, it was also because well, at least they were friends. They knew each other. It was like the second black actress to win best support actress, I think, in a comedy show, I believe, which hasn't been won for 35 years.
If I remember, from what I read, and maybe we read conflicting information, it was because John Oliver beat him out again for best comedy variety show, that Emmy, and he was like, and pretended to die on stage because of it, and then just laid there. I think the black actress was the award recipient when he was laying there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same page about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought he was like a co-host or something like that because
there
was somebody with him because there was somebody who dragged him out or something like that.
Someone dragged him like elsewhere on the stage, thinking like when that was done, he'd get up and leave, but he didn't.
It was. I think it was just a joke that went a little too far, and it was like not really that funny.
It's one of those.
I can't even get hard if there's not a fist fight on stage anymore at an award ceremony.
It doesn't even. My nipples don't even get erect unless there's like an assault.
It's like what
verbal abuse gets me like a half chub, but I need that physical assault.
It's like what porn has done for me in the bedroom.
Chris, whoa. Honey, you've got death grip on your award trophy.
What you all don't know is Don John is actually inspired by Jake's sex life.
If there ain't a belt around my neck, I don't want it.
Jacob, secretly Jacob Carradine.
That's
There's your
that's
obligatory
why
David Carradine joke.
that's why I'm getting married, right? That's all allowable
I don't.
after you're
I
married,
don't
right?
think.
For your lifeline.
Part of me thinks that David Carradine didn't actually die of autoerotic asphyxiation. He was murdered, and they made it look like that because he was in like a really seedy part of Taiwan or something like that.
I don't know the Carradine conspiradines.
I remember reading something like this is all vague recollections of the events where I'm like, that seems a little fishy. But maybe I was presented bad information.
Who knows?
Speaking of fishy, something's fishy with this dead guy and Mr. Harrigan's phone.
Okay.
Yeah, a Netflix movie produced by Blumhouse, based on a Stephen King short story. About a guy who makes a friend with a brutalist old man who passes away and commits acts of violence against those who wronged the boy in his afterlife.
Hell yeah. They spell it out right in the fucking trailer.
No
for
mystery at all, baby.
I was like, oh, what
So
Stephen King book is this?
This is his new stuff.
Yes, this is a newer thing of things.
2020.
He's
it's a
still
collection
writing.
of
He is he's
because
prolific author, just banging them out.
that's it. That's the only actual Stephen King story is that he was cursed and he has to keep writing horror novels or else he dies.
That's going to be his final book.
Well, not all of his novels are
writer that
horror
comes-
novels. Like Shawshank Redemption is a Stephen King story.
And it
Mm-hmm.
was really a romance story about a bunch of young kids and one girl. It's just all leading up to that one point.
That's all Jake remembers about that book for obvious reasons.
That and all the cocaine fueled clown porn that
The
was
clown
written.
cosmology.
The clown
Clownsmology?
lord.
Yeah.
Man, do I
Fucking
love
Dark
that
Tower
clown lore.
tie-ins.
Ooh,
Pennywise
yeah.
fights a fucking turtle spirit or some shit
Hell
like that.
yeah.
They do battle by locking tongues or
It's the
something.
weirdest version of Discworld I've ever read.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
Man, I want
But,
that Yu-Gi-Oh card. I didn't see that in the anime. They should really make anime
Kurt,
adaptations.
why is there not a Stephen King archetype? It's
Not
all his
yet.
characters.
I mean,
It's like Ghost Tricks, but
give it time.
stronger.
Konami, what are you doing? You came out with the princesses
I
and the Jedi.
I just want to
Cosmo,
say
yeah.
that I like the fact that this is because this is the short story came out in 2020. This was in fact Stephen King going, what if it was a ghost on the other end of the iPhone?
Well, you see, I got the
What if the
inspiration.
emojis were sent from hell?
Got the inspiration from a robocall when I picked up the phone and nobody was there. I thought it was a ghost. And then $5,000 disappeared from my checking account. So I mean that's basically what happens. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and that's basically Trey Watch this week.
I want to make a shout out to Decision to Leave because it looks like a really good movie that's going to do good things with its camera and cinematography.
It's
And
gonna.
it's, I think, from the same guy who directed Parasite.
A lot of people are gonna make the decision to leave the theater.
So I had a question. This said it's gonna be like the most romantic movie of the year, but the score throughout the entire trailer is just chilling.
Yeah, it's going to be like a weird romantic thriller, I feel like.
Yeah. For Koreans.
Korean Jesus.
Yeah, who is it? I'm waiting for the name. Park Chan-wook. Is that who did Parasite?
Let's
Let's find out.
South Korean.
Oh, well, the
Bong-
synopsis.
Bong
I did not read the
Joon-ho.
synopsis when I was watching the trailer.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho.
Okay. I guess they were just. I guess the splash screens were just comparing them because they're both Korean movies. Which
Oh, did they? Oh, did
like I
they
said,
compare it to
he
Parasite?
did do Old Boy.
Wait, what was the director's name?
Park Chan Wook.
Park Chan Wook.
Spelled like it sounds.
No. I was gonna say maybe he was one of the actors, and because there, I guess Park is a pretty common Korean name, because
It
just
is.
in Parasite you have Park Soo Joon, Park So Dam, who's a woman, so I guess it's kind of like Leslie, can be either. And Park Myung Hoon, just in that one movie. No,
So-
I'm sorry. Park Kyun Rook is another one.
I did not realize he did both Old Boy and Snowpiercer.
Oh, he produced.
Yeah,
Yeah, produced
he was-
Snowpiercer.
Wait, this guy or Boong Jun?
Park Chan Wook.
Okay, maybe he was a producer on Parasite.
He may have been involved.
I
knows?
wonder. If, just reading this, I wonder if Park is the last name, and they do it like last name first. That would make more sense.
Oh,
That would make a lot more sense, actually.
Director.
I don't know, but he was born on August 23rd, 1963. So nice.
The old, I guess.
Good job, Park, or should I say, Chan Wook?
All right, so let's move on to the follow-up here, and with that, we'll bring up our
list.
our box office list, which for some reason is not showing. And
Well, it's our spotlight to start it off.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're starting
well,
off with a bang.
Which-
Here.
okay, I got it.
You got it?
on the video here. Okay, cool. So it's tinier than I would prefer, but here we are. y'all can read that on YouTube. In first place, we've got Barbarian with $10.5 million, which, as Jake mentioned, does make it our spotlight film of the week. Not because it made that money, but it just happened to be our spotlight
It's
film.
one
of
of
the week.
And now,
well,
we
there
all
are,
know,
I was gonna say one of the few new movies, but there's a fair few this week.
Yeah.
so we all. This is the biopic for Nicki Minaj, right?
I
don't know that
I
reference.
don't know the reference.
A very small subset of people will get that reference. The Barbs is the name given to Nicki Minaj fans, or stans as they are referred to, and they are vicious. If you
Are they more
offend-
vicious than the bees of the Beyonce
Yeah,
hive?
I will say yeah. If you
There we go.
disparage Nicki Minaj, our Lord and Savior Minaj, the Barbarian herself, her barbs will come after you in droves and hop in your QRTs and destroy you on Twitter. And they'll call you racist, and they'll call you all other words that you can't say back to them.
I mean, you don't hear about Iggy Azalea anymore because the
No,
Barb's got
it's-
their. Because the
Exactly. So, Barbarian, the biopic about Nicki Minaj and her relentless fan army.
So Barbarian has made 14 million to date, and it does find itself in our spotlight this week. So Barbarian has a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 74% on Fandango. So it is it's doing quite well in terms of critical reception. But you know the drill. No one gives a shit about that. It's all about what the real reviewers that hang out in the IMDb user review section have to say. And we lead off with a reading from JK What's Up Weirdo Podcast.
Hey,
Another podcaster who
Podman.
gave this movie a 9 out of 10, saying, I never could have guessed, submitted September 8th. Okay, Barbarian was bonkers. Given the name, I was afraid it'd be a kidnappy gore fest / hostile style, but I was pleasantly surprised to find it was not even remotely what I thought it would be. It's not what anyone could imagine. I had read it's 90 minutes of WTF, comma, but I'd actually almost say it's a slow burn. In a nice way. Really fun to see in a theater, especially if you're from Detroit. Eyes crying emoji. Laughing crying emoji. Parenthetical. It def got some choice laughs in the theater I was in. Practical effects, great acting, super stylish directing, laughs and weirdness would be awesome in a drive-through. A drive-through theater. you just drive through. The movie
get that-
gets blasted in your face. It's like edited down to 5 seconds. Super sped
No,
up.
it's got the reel going right beside you the whole time. You're like, wait, hold up. I need to see this back. So you throw the car in reverse.
And you crash into the car behind you in the drive-through theater. Yeah. It'd be awesome to see in a drive-through. Don't watch the trailer. Go in blind. It's a riot. Thumbs up from me. And we got a thumb emoji, a door emoji, and a flashlight emoji to close it out.
Okay.
And 102 out of 113 found that review helpful.
All right.
Well, that's great.
I'll go in blind. Sure. Just gonna Oedipus complex my eyeballs real
What?
quick.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Just gonna Oedipus Rex my
Jake,
eyeballs.
who's the father of your eyes?
Sorry.
And other things Jaden Smith
the
might
only
say.
thing I can think of at the moment, Oedipus Rex my eyes.
Okay.
Is that better?
Title
Is
of-
that better?
That's Jake's new single.
That's
new
what he
mixtape.
fucking did. He shagged his mom, realized it was his mom,
All right.
was
Okay.
yikes, and
I
then
know, yes.
jammed out
Okay,
his eyes
yes,
with
all
his
right,
thumbs.
All right. We got the reference. Read
Gruesome
read
detail.
your review, Jake.
Okay, viewers, listeners, watchers, if you would not like any spoilers, because I'm pretty sure this gives away a good bit, just slap plus 30 seconds to this bitch, okay? Because
Yeah.
Russ Hogg says, 1 out of 10, warning spoilers, last warning. This was not a good horror film. The story does not make any sense at all. Like, literally, zero. If the lady went out at night, how come she never took the people in the Airbnb on the first night? Why did she wait until they found her in the basement? Who opened and closed the door to the basement and locked them? Was that just a trap that the dad set? How come the black dude never said to her she was going to be attacked? He just tried to run at her and scare her. Why would he spend any time at all in a neighborhood where some creepy old hag lady ran around? Who sold the young couple the Airbnb in the first place? How did they get double booked? How could anyone
Asking
believe?
the real questions here.
How could anyone believe that a convention in town would take up all the hotel space in Detroit? What was the young man having a nightmare about? What did the people in the basement eat? And when did they eat it? Where did the big old bottle come from? How did the guy from Hollywood own property in Detroit?
Why do Piranha Plant have bone in it?
Why did he go back there?
Wait, Jake, how many more of these do you have? Because I want you to read them in Jonathan Frakes' voice.
Who's Jonathan Frake?
He's
Commander Riker. On remember he had that show where he's like,
he's
Have you
also
ever-
Xanatos and Gargoyles.
yeah, and he had that real life mystery show where he's like, what's the most a typewriter
Fact or
ever
Fiction
typed?
is the name of the show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have you ever logged onto your internet?
oh, okay. I get. Maybe I can try it. All right, I'll probably butcher it, but why did he go back there? How could he not know the space in the basement was not good for rental or sales? And why was this film even called Barbarian? Was that woman a barbarian? Nice work from my man Night King, though. Who's Night King?
He did nice work.
19 out of 32 found that helpful. I guess I only had a few more left, but that would have been good. There was a lot of questions
There's
in
a lot.
there.
Man,
So,
man asking
for
the
reference,
important
Jake,
questions there.
here's I sent you the link for the the video. While I read off
this
mine.
guy.
Yeah, this guy.
This
That
fucking guy.
That guy.
I'm gonna read out this. I'm following with you. I'm just gonna keep on this trail here, Jake. With this 6 out of 10 review from I Love My Cuda. 6 out of 10. Not scary, but had potential. All right. First of all, who gets an Airbnb and doesn't look at it on Google Maps before they go? Who ends up in the hood and decides that they'll stay the night? The characters are stupid and make dumb decisions. It's definitely not scary if it has a great cast and it had the potential to be a really good scary movie. Richard Brake? Slam the Richard Brakes. Is a great actor. He plays a good killer, and they could have made this an amazing movie. Justin Long is very talented, and they wasted it in this movie.
No one's
They
ever
took
said
it in the
that
wrong
before.
direction. It's worth watching if you can see it cheap, but if you're looking for really scary, you'll be disappointed. It's okay, and as far as new movies, it's okay, but it's just okay. Great cast, okay plot, bad execution on it though. 0 out of 1.
Did Justin
one.
Long write that? Because I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone say the phrase "Justin Long is very talented."
It was his mom. Great movie, but my baby Justin Long, he hasn't visited in a while, but I love him.
Underutilized.
And he's very good. He's very good. I believe
He's
him.
very good.
It's okay, and as far as movies go, it's okay, but it's just
okay.
okay.
He's not as good as his cousin.
I'm not
who's
sure.
who's a
I'm
bigger
not sure
actor.
how he felt about that movie. Did he think it was okay?
It might have been okay.
Was the name not Justin Long's mom? Was the name of the reviewer?
I don't know. I had to look up the reviewer just so I didn't say something awful when I read out the reviewer name, because it's I Love My Cuda, and the only thing I saw was like an NVIDIA tech platform.
He's a very, very enthusiastic fan of his CUDA cores on his GPU.
There's only 2 reviews, are this one and the one for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake that came out this year.
The recent one, yeah.
I thought maybe he was a
liberal garbage.
I thought he was maybe a Barracuda aficionado, and he had a pet Cuda.
That
All right.
Cuda.
I read now from the book of Disc Golf, chapter 733, verse 34.
Sport.
Capital H space capital O space capital L space capital Y space. Submitted September 9th. I can't even find the words to describe how great this movie is. It's one of the scariest, creepiest movies in recent years, and it has a wild and strong plot. Everything horror directors are taught to do gets done perfectly. The acting is great too. It goes in the direction you'll never expect. Absolutely insane film. 600 characters, my ass. Come on, IMDb. I guess there's a character limit to these. That can't be right. That can't be right.
With how many Ferguson 6 reviews I've read, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes up as you get like a more prolific review.
That could be it. Is this not enough for you? Question mark. These are all new lines, by the way. This has got to be 600 by now. What the hell? Oh, maybe that's the minimum.
Minimum?
Yeah.
That also doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, what 600 characters? I've seen some short ones.
Yeah, but still,
knows?
that's a decent amount. Like, I've seen 2-sentence reviews. What the hell? I just want to review this movie. OMFG, how is this still too short? I'm writing a review, not an essay. I'm honestly about to give up. This is ridiculous. He calmed down. He's off the all caps lock. Why is there even a character count? Question mark, exclamation mark. Let people review movies how they want. New line. Finally! 14 out of 22 found this helpful.
That's really
Amazing.
funny. Maybe that's like a way that they because that couldn't have been the case before. I wonder if they implemented
So
that
you
to
don't
like
get
get rid
like
of review
Amazon
bombing.
reviews.
Yeah,
They're
maybe,
just like, oh, stupid, bad, 1 star.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Doesn't make any
All right.
sense to me, but
Your book of made me change my review to an overhyped mess from the book of E. Jones, chapter 31, verse 57. I love that. That's a good one. 1 out of 10. I am amazed at how many. No, this is way too. That's way too long for me
No,
to hymnal to say this like a hymn. God damn it! I want to too. I am amazed at how many good reviews this movie has because this movie was awful. I almost fell asleep on it, and I've never done that during a horror movie. If you are reading this, and we are, and you have not seen this movie yet, please do not buy into the hype that is being sold around this movie. I've seen this get compared to The Exorcist, Evil Dead, Jeepers Creepers, and a ton of other better horror movies. When in all actuality, this movie is more like someone who seen Don't Breathe and went, you know what would have been better if they had, and yeah, this movie was made. What? You know what? They didn't even say it. Fuck you.
they forgot. They hit their
Yeah.
600 character limit.
they had to jump to ellipses. The movie started off well and then just went all the way downhill, especially when Justin Long's character shows up and transitions the movie from being horror to a comedy and kills the atmosphere and tension that was being built. You don't need to see this with a crowd. There is no hooting or hollering moments here. But there are a lot of dumb decisions being made by the main character. There are also things that are not explained, given enough backstory, which is why it's frustrating. The movie ends flat, and I most definitely walked out thinking, what the fuck did I just watch? I said WTF. Did I just watch? But for all the wrong reasons. My advice would be to tamper your expectations. Tamp it down.
Gotta wire them to explode.
Yeah, wire your expectations. Booby trap them, and expect to see a very mediocre quote horror film. 42 out of 79 found that helpful.
Fair enough. And finally, we got one from La Tetro 26. 5 out of 10. Different type of horror, but way overhyped. And as we always say, you need to trust the real reviewers with real reviewer traits. And this person agrees with us. They know what's good. All right. From the mouth of this man, I have to stop trusting critics or people's reviews on YouTube because I've been hearing nothing but excellent things and it got me super hyped.
Unless there are reviews, you can trust those.
That's right. We have real reviewer traits. We spliced in those genes. The movie was dry. It didn't deliver enough. I will say I really respect Zach Kreger because even though I didn't enjoy the movie as much as I thought I would, Zach made a different type of horror movie, something we don't see anymore. It was refreshing seeing something new. Those two statements don't mix. They could have took out a lot of scenes that to me were very unnecessary and could have added a lot more, especially when it came to the twist. I was shocked when I saw the twist and thought this movie was gonna take off, but nothing really happened. It was all predictable. Horror elements and acting really stood out, but other than that, nothing too exciting. Was it a fun time in the theater? Yeah. Was it scary? No. Would I recommend it to people? Maybe for the shock value. Also, this might be a spoiler IDK, so just in case, please avoid this part. Period. Please, no period. I got Adam Green's Hatchet vibes while watching. If you've seen those Hatchet films, I think you know what I'm talking about because to me it was similar to an extent. 8 out of
I
16 on
actually
that
actually
level.
know the movies he's referring to, and it's actually kind of funny that he had that weird grammar choice because I believe in the first Hatchet movie, like the synopsis of like the backstory has some pretty bad grammatical mistakes in it.
And but that is that's Barbarian.
That's Barbarian.
Wow.
We'll
That's
we'll
Barbar
leave
Band.
you to make your own decisions about that.
Wow.
In the meantime, we will return
Yeah,
to
the box
the
office
follow up. Yeah.
with Brahmastra Part One, Shiva, bringing in $4.5 million in
Yep.
only 810 theaters, trouncing Barbarian's per theater take by over
Yes.
$1,100 a
Yes.
theater.
We should note. I didn't realize this before, and I was talking with Kurt about it. This is a Walt Disney
Oh
Studios
yeah.
production.
Yeah.
What the
Yes.
fuck?
This is a Disneyfied Bollywood joint.
They know how to make their they bought out Marvel for the MCU, and now they're making the BCU.
So a YouTuber I like, he's a reviewer. Actually made a video on RRR, calling it the best movie you've never seen,
Mhm.
and I think it's on Netflix now too. So I'm thinking maybe at some
We may
point
have
in
to
the
see
future
RRR
we have to watch
and
RRR.
and also the Kashmir Files.
Of course, that goes without saying, because no matter how good one of these Bollywood movies may be, it's not the Kashmir Files.
We know that.
We know that for certain.
And it's certainly not Bullet Train.
No, Bullet Train fallen out of second place into third place, displaced by the two opening movies, still bringing in a respectable $3.31 million, as you can see, down 42% out of 61 theaters. So far, it has made $212 million worldwide off of a $90 million budget, so definitely a profitable endeavor for Sony Pictures. Top Gun Maverick, with quite the fall from grace from its unexpected
Yeah.
first place finish last week.
They finally
16
pulled
weeks.
the brakes on it.
16 weeks into its
Jesus
theatrical run.
Christ.
It's
They
still
said-
in fourth, mind you.
We
Despite
gotta
its-
start pulling.
Despite its fall, it has not fallen out of the top 5 for 16 weeks.
We gotta start pulling back the throttle there, Goose. Still
We're
in
gonna
3,000
hit the hard
theaters.
deck any minute now.
Yeah,
3,000 theaters, almost like everywhere. And yeah, fuck.
$1.45 billion. You know, I think it's gonna get to 1.5 billion. I
They
think
probably
that's-
will. Like they're gonna see. Well, the thing is, that's gonna be tough for them. Is I don't know if there are any like patriotic holidays between now. I don't remember. I don't recall what patriotic holidays are between now and Thanksgiving.
There are like no holidays between now and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Except Halloween.
So there's no good occasion to be like, come back and watch Top Gun again.
We got the elections in 2 months.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's maybe. Hey, get out there, support your
Oh,
nominees, support your troops,
Vote
support
and
Tom
get-
Cruise.
Go vote and then get tickets to see.
Oh, dude, if they, that would be a
I
fucking
feel like
next
that's
level
probably
move.
illegal in some capacity.
Get your ticket to
I don't
vote Top
think
Gun.
So. I think if you
Or like if you show, how about this? If you show your I voted sticker
You get a
at
free
like the
ticket,
theater,
yeah.
that's probably how you do it. You don't do it
That's-
at the polling place.
Oh yeah. You
I
get,
don't
like,
I don't
half
think
off or
you'd get in
something.
trouble for giving people incentive to vote. I think if you vote for a specific candidate,
Yeah.
Mhm. But you would also have to do it equilaterally across all polling places,
yeah.
because
Well,
otherwise
it
you'd
could be a
if you
theater-
do it.
Train promotion, I think, would be the safest way to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. probably the
What
best
if you would? What if you outed people? Like you get a blue cup if you voted Democrat. You get a red cup, a free red cup of drink if you voted.
They get a
Swing states like
Scientologist to
Florida
come
and
into you
Ohio,
with
just
the booth
massive
and like
brawls.
they point to each of the candidates that they want and they say, if you don't vote for these, I'm not going to give you your Top Gun Maverick tickets. And they're gonna swing the whole midterms.
The invitation is in fifth, down 45.3%, despite opening in 3 new theaters. That has made 25.8 million worldwide, which is probably profitable for
Yeah.
a movie of that budget.
It's probably like a boo based budget.
Well, I
Boo
think
2.
it's probably less than Boo. Boo was an exceptionally high budget movie
Yes.
for what it was. DC League of Super Pets in sixth, $2.65 million. That has made $169.9 million worldwide. I don't know. Maybe that's made its money back. I know animated movies are very expensive to make generally.
I feel like they're gonna push this in theaters as long as they can, just so that I'm looking at it and like this is Warner Bros. Only offering in the top 10 of the box office right now,
This is their
especially
only
with
like offering until Black Adam comes out.
Yeah, Black Adam.
yeah. So especially with the changeover and all the business tumult going on, it's probably they say this is a product that is out. Let's try and keep it there. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't. There's only so much you can do about what movie how well your movie does.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine that they're going to try and keep it there for as long, so they have a steady element in the mix.
Seems likely.
Black Adam is coming out in October 21st. So
Yeah.
gotta
Only another
it's
month. Yeah, it's
pretty soon.
3 more. Yeah, like 3 more weeks. This will be out. Yeah, so just in time for Black Adam.
Black Adam, yeah. Lifemark, a Fathom event picture, opens with $2.178 million in 1,500 theaters. Beast continues its rather precipitous drop, in its fourth week, down to $1.8 million, down $55 million. It has made $50 million worldwide, 50.458 to be super specific. Minions Rise of Gru in its 11th week, still hanging on in the top 10, $1.7 million. Thor Love and Thunder is down in 12th, so Minions has outlasted it in the top 10, out-earned it. The little fucking yellow bastards have defeated the God of Thunder.
They made it in by a Gru hair.
And what's
$100 million worldwide.
Weird. So this is now we all saw Mortal Engines, right? We watched that one week. Okay. You remember in that movie when in the London Museum there were minions in the museum as and in the plaque said American deities. So there's a weird tangential connection for the minions beating Thor the God of Thunder here.
Pretty much the only thing I remember of that movie is that a fucking toaster got more character development than the protagonist.
Yeah.
And
rounding out
rounding
out 10th is the re-release of Spider-Man No Way Home,
down
which was in
7
third
spots.
which was in third place last year.
Yeah.
I forgot in last week. I don't know. I've seen a couple different trailers for like releases of like old movies also, but the thing was I just want to bring this up. Like they're releasing these really old movies in 3D now, which I have to imagine like they finally figured out like a way to economically convert post produce like old 60s movies like Jaws and shit into 3D.
My understanding is it was never particularly difficult or expensive. It just they didn't feel like it would be a worthwhile endeavor because you have to market it and all that. But
Okay.
I think just with re-releases now, there's an expectation. Well, with any release now, I think there's an expectation that it'll be offered in these premium formats.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
that's why you're seeing 3D and
maybe it was
IMAX versions.
It was Dawn of the Dead. It was George Romero's Dawn of the Dead in 3D. That's what it was. Shout out to I'll give a 5-minute review or even a 5-second review here for 3,000 years.
Hold on.
Oh.
We gotta get you the focus screen.
Yeah. 3,000 years of longing, currently hanging out in 16th. So I watched that this week, whichever. It's a fine movie. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. So it's a fairy tale romance, which I think wasn't very. I don't think it did well because it wasn't like novel or groundbreaking. I would say, but I think it was pretty sincere, and it was a fairly straightforward story. And as a romance, it was less cheesy than all the other rom-coms coming out. So I would give it points for that. I would recommend watching this movie, especially with your girl/boyfriend.
Significant other.
Good time.
Was
Yes.
Justin Long in it?
I've heard he's very talented. At least one person has said that, and only one person.
Yeah.
He does rom-coms,
I will
right?
say it is rated R for nudity and language. So
Rated
keep that
R.
as it may. That's probably also why it didn't do well. Was
Hmm.
because
I mean, yeah,
it wasn't hitting the demographics.
Inherently, you lose out on a lot of the audience with an R rating.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that should be the follow-up there. Let's switch over to gaming news now. And Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 goes live November 16th. So for all of you Warzone fans out there who are just like, I'm tired of the 1.0 release, you won't have to wait very long, too. Warzone 2.0 will be an extension of Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer built on the same engine. It will officially land on November 16th, bringing Modern Warfare 2 environments, gameplay, and technology to a large-scale battlefield. This release day has been floating around on the internet for a few months now, and Activision confirmed it today during a showcase about the new connected future of Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0 will mark a turning point for the Call of Duty franchise with a focus on cross-progression and shared technology among its various versions. MW2 comes out October 28th, just a few weeks before Warzone 2.0. Both games will use the same underlying technology as a fresh version of the IW engine that powered 2019's Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
Wow.
I have Modern Warfare. I actually quite enjoyed that. And man, I grew up on the Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
It
So
made me a man.
I
Put hair on my
saw some
balls.
stuff. It changed me a little bit, you know. So I got a sweet spot. I got a tender spot for this game. I might have to pick this up. And you know what? I'm glad to pick this up because I have a perception of Warzone where you only get the most out of it if you actually buy the game, which kind of sucks. Unless you grind like fucking crazy. For those of you that don't know, like upgrading your guns is a big part of COD. The same thing is true for Warzone with loadouts and how easy they are to get. So getting a loadout with your style of guns is only good if you have an easy way to unlock stuff with that gun, and the best way to do that's multiplayer, which is only accessible if you buy the game, which still sucks. So personally, I would like to see a future where maybe multiplayer and Warzone are free.
It doesn't sound like that future is November
I know.
16th.
I don't think it is. So I'll take the story as well. I mean, the story was fine in Modern Warfare, and we'll see what they do with the story for. And it's a fun little romp
I
to
mean,
get
the
through.
story is actually, it was a draw. Like I was kind of out on Call of Duty when Modern Warfare 3 came out, but then part of me was like, ugh, I gotta finish the story. I gotta finish this arc here. I gotta see what happens. I've invested a lot of time and not a small amount of money into it, so might as well see it through.
Get your value.
And sunk cost fallacy and all that. And in today's what the fuck winner story, Little Nas X is now president of League of Legends, ahead of the 2022 League World Championship. Little Nas X is collabing with Riot Games on its anthem and a prestige skin. So this story, as you can see here, from Kotaku, written by Isaiah Colbert, is from today at 1:40, and today is September 15th. I mean, it's September. What's Saturday? September 17th. Yeah, we don't record this ahead of time. No,
No,
it's
it's
live.
I mean, we're recording it live now.
Yeah.
We're live. What are you
Duh.
talking about? Don't you see that
Yeah,
live?
it's not
button in the
April
bottom?
Fools. Is my point here. This is real. This is a real thing. It's really happening. So
He's a man of
Lil
of,
Nas X and League of Legends, two stars that have kind of passed their expiration date, are coming together to join forces.
However, Lil Nas X is quite the memester on Twitter. But I did come across a handful of not suitable for work. Free scrolling on Twitter, and it was funny, but I did have to cover up my phone real quick. So
Yeah.
to keep your privacy, Jake. Oh no. I will say this is part of, I guess, what I've been seeing as a trend of rappers, rap personalities, collabing, joining in on otherwise nerdy stuff. This joins Post Malone and his Magic collabs, and also Action Bronson, who is now an AEW competitor.
Yes, he will be wrestling next Wednesday on
as well as Bad Bunny, who is a WWE competitor.
I feel like this is less of a case of rappers collabing with nerdy things. Well, I mean, yes, that's happening factually, but I think this is more a byproduct of nerdier people becoming rappers.
Mhm. Well,
It
yeah.
could be.
And this also isn't the first time that League of Legends has done like musical collaborations. They do this quite a bit with like decently well-known artists. A lot of K-pop bands do stuff
They
with them,
definitely have
but
a lot of weight to throw around.
notably, Imagine Dragons has made multiple songs for them, and they've played at their World Championships a couple times. So like there are famous songs out there
League
that
World
Imagine Dragons
Championship
does for them.
is a big event. Like,
It's huge.
For a lot of bands, that would be the biggest house they've ever played in front of.
I would not be surprised. Yeah. Oh, 100%. And they are totally willing to make that trip out to usually it's in Korea or
And
China.
I'm sure the money for that gig is not bad either.
No, I mean I'm pretty sure they probably sold out. Like they had the Staples Center I think one year.
Yeah,
and they just
that's,
fucking filled that stadium.
Well, Staples Center I think is a 2,000 seat building or 20,000
really?
seat building,
Yeah,
which is big, but not like a football stadium or something like that.
No. The last one I saw that was in Korea, I think. That was huge. The Imagine Dragons played at. That was fucking massive.
Yeah, isn't it usually in Seoul?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think they try to hop around a little bit because I know when I was in college, they definitely came to LA for their championships. I don't know how they base it off of. Probably money. I don't know, but I know usually the winners are usually Koreans. So
yeah, they're pretty.
I think they definitely favor them because they know they're gonna get a big turnout.
I think it's just generally a lot bigger in Korea. Like the player counts are higher in Korea than they are in the U.S. at least these days. Discord. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I mean, there's plenty of theories or kind of arguments for why South Korea might be better, or consistently well performing these events. One of them I popped into my head was like Korea is just like a more dense country than America. So
They also have much
if you want to
better
build a
internet.
team, yeah, really good internet and a lot of really people are just closer together. So when you're doing events, when you're building teams, when you're
It's more
doing all
engaged with the culture as well, I feel. Feel like there's a bigger, like, internet cafes and stuff like that are a larger part of the culture in South Korea than they are in the
yeah.
U.S. So yeah, there are a lot of factors, and this is true of a lot of Asian countries, which is why you typically see, in any competitive uh, gaming forum, you see a large top competitor presence in Asia. Like, this is true for fighting games too. Like, America has not won a Street Fighter Evo since like 2004.
Yeah.
Well, that might not be true. I didn't watch a lot of Street Fighter V's Legacy. Punk might have won a Street Fighter V Evo, but anywho,
It's
Discord.
not a majority by any count.
Absolutely not. Discord, after displacing old school internet forums, is now bringing them back. Today, the company has announced the forum channels, which are exactly what you'd think from the name. They are old school message board forums through Discord's app interface. So I don't know if so it's a channel, so you can add it to your server. I don't know how popular this feature is going to be, but it will be a good way for organizations to make announcements and things of that nature. So I think there's a good chance it'll show up. The Xbox app on PC and now launches faster and has integrated how long to beat metadata. So when you're looking for a game to play on Game Pass, it will show you how long to beat. It's information about speed run, casual playthrough, mixed playthrough, how long you can expect to invest in the game. Which whenever we're coming back to streaming. This is set to take place later this month or early next month, depending upon how. I'd say we're about 90% ready to relaunch. We've completely upped our production value. We've got a lot of new and exciting things that we're happy about for streaming. One of the reasons we took a break is because we weren't getting a lot of viewers, and I wasn't really satisfied with the quality of our stream.
Yeah.
And I'm creatively very much a perfectionist. These two jokers can attest to that. And if I'm not happy with the quality of something and we're not seeing a lot of success from it, my motivation to continue doing it will decrease very quickly. But
drastic goes down.
Drastic goes down. But this break has given us an opportunity to kind of look at other people's stuff and content and integrate some of those ideas. But as getting back to my main point, whenever I'm looking at a game that we are potentially going to do on stream, one of the first things I check is the how long to beat webpage for it, so I can assess whether or not this is something that would be a good idea. Now, we've brazenly disregarded that on several occasions. Divinity 2. But the fact that this is now going to be available on in-app for Game Pass games is going to be a big boon to us, and I'm sure other people. Everyone likes to know how long they're in for a game. And I don't have an article here, but one of the big stories this week has been more bad news for Halo Infinite.
Uh-oh.
Haven't touched the game in a while.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. 343 Industries has not had the best track record for releasing quality and complete games. And they released Halo Infinite very bereft of content, with the promise that in 6 months, a year's time, it would be a more full game. Well, they've delayed the roadmap and released a new roadmap, and the features they're adding are not coming quickly, and they're not numerous in nature. And it's really Halo Infinite's kind of circling the drain as a game here, and I fear that Halo will be going with it. It's been a rough go for Halo since Bungie fucked off to make Destiny.
Yep.
And honestly, Destiny's been doing really good.
It's almost if
Yeah.
it's almost as if Bungie knows how to manage an IP properly.
For as
they-
much as we meme on Destiny, just like everybody posting stuff about it, I've heard a lot of good stuff, and I constantly see content about it.
Point of order, I've never memed on Destiny. I don't have a problem with Destiny or Destiny 2. I've memed on Game Rant's obsession with Destiny.
Yes. We should be clear about that. No, yeah, like the fact that this is just it's how Bungie does its thing. Like they'll make a game and then they'll finish and move on to the next property, and just sort of like as an idiosyncrasy of Bungie, they will drag along like the deep portions of their lore and sort of like copy paste them into the new stuff.
So like Halo was supposed to end with Halo 3. Like
Yes.
there's a reason they said finish the fight in the advertisements. Microsoft made the questionable decision to build the Xbox brand around Halo, and as a result demanded more Halo games, and Bungie eventually acquiesced and we got Halo Reach, which was a fine game.
Mhm.
You know, it was a prequel. It worked within Bungie's established storylines. It was something different that
Didn't
we hadn't
fuck
seen
with stuff.
before. It didn't
Yeah.
fuck with too much, and it was a novel enough setting and gameplay that everyone enjoyed it. For the most
changed
part.
up the multiplayer a little bit enough too, to where it kept people happy.
And then Bungie was like, "We're done," and Microsoft's like, "I don't think you are," and Bungie's like, "No, we're actually done." And they broke away from Microsoft as a first party studio, made Destiny, and they're now partners with Sony, ironically.
And an offshoot of Bungie was formed to make 343, and I think they just tried to copy Call of Duty
Yeah.
for a good majority of the games.
They were
And they added too much funky shit. They focused way too much on multiplayer, and I don't know what it was. It was like they
I feel like
watered
just
down their
always lacked
multiplayer enough.
focus, you know?
Yeah,
Like they've
and-
never been
Mhm.
able to. I think their leadership just lacks the planning ability of Bungie's senior leadership. Like they've never been able to develop on launch a fully realized game. I feel like Halo 4 had a fine campaign, but kind of substandard multiplayer. Halo 5 was the opposite. The campaign was trash, but the multiplayer was pretty good. And Halo Infinite has just been a underbaked nightmare that was in development for 5 years, came out with like a quarter of a game, and the only like notable gameplay feature I can think of that they added was the grappling hook, which is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong.
I think Infinite's best characteristics that they did was the story, and good on them. Story, like you did the open world thing, you did a very cool story mode.
Very cool.
And your
very
multiplayer
nice.
did kind of take that and build off of it and made a multiplayer that was relatively fun, but it was a fucking shell of what Halo 3 had to offer in terms of game modes, in terms of like just playing the same goddamn map over and over again,
It's been
having
like 2 maps,
a
new maps
fucking
since
ranking
release.
system, a extremely subpar free ranking system, to where they promoted this game fully on, hey, you don't need to buy the battle pass to be able to customize your armor, and then they fucking
So long as you have
paywall
200,000 hours a week to grind.
you have to like have a full-time job grinding Halo, and at that point the people who are doing that are going to be like, you know what, I might as well just buy the battle pass and get some extra shit out of this, because I'm like, why wouldn't you? And that's how I thought. I was like, I'm playing this like every single night for like a couple hours, a few hours,
Mhm.
and then the weekend I'm grinding the shit out of this. I might as well buy the battle pass. I bought it. It was fine. It's like it also was not even that great too, I might add. And they had to like add
Yeah.
a lot to it after launch.
This
And
is the quintessential, the classic Skinner box maneuver,
Yeah.
right? Where they'll lure you in with the perks and they'll advertise it, and you finally you want to see the world's smallest emu, but it's right over that fence. You got to pay the
Yeah.
carny to go see it, you know. And it turns out it was just a chicken the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a Game Pass subscriber. So that's how I played Halo Infinite for Game Pass, and I'm glad that I did, cuz if I paid full price for Halo Infinite, I'd have been a very angry man.
I'm still hoping that their DLC for the story is going to be free later on, and they're going to have a big content dump for multiplayer. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. That
You can
makes
look at the
sense.
roadmap, Jake. It's out there for you.
I didn't even look at what the roadmap came out with. I
It's
know they
not
have.
very impressive. I'll
I don't
say
even
that.
know. Is it just multiplayer or is it
It's just, well, the big single player development is they announced that they are canceling local split screen for multiplayer after the Halo 5 debacle of saying that they will always have it in after how poorly received the removal of split screen was there. But the thing is, the code for it exists in the game already. People have hacked their way to local split screen. Like, Microsoft has more money than fucking God. They've bought out ZenMax and Activision Blizzard in the same calendar year. And you're telling me that they couldn't give 343 the money to develop split screen multiplayer? They had to shift resources away to fucking make anything for their multiplayer? Halo is in a bad way, and it's really sad to see one of the titans of gaming fall so spectacularly. But, it happens. And, I had my reservations when 343 became a thing and we're given
Mhm.
stewardship over Halo. And every concern I had about that maneuver has come to pass. And, there are times where I really hate being right, and this is one of those times.
Yeah, so the to be more specific on like the dates, November 8th to March 7th, their winter update, which is a huge fucking time gap. Forge beta,
Beta.
which is like
Something
which
that should
is
have been in the game at release, yeah.
which is something that came out with Halo 3 on release. And honestly was something that made Halo 3 special and put it on the map. I think in terms of like the amount of like
That's
because
very fair.
the
Like, Forge
like
was a huge...
Forge was basically YouTube for Halo in
And
that
theater mode, too. Theater mode came out with that as
yeah,
well,
and
right?
it gave the players an ability to make a game of a game and make their own content, which for like if you actually boil it down, it's like, hey, we just gave you the pieces, now you go do the hard work and assemble it. Which is like
Right.
funny, but like people like Legos.
Well, I
Like
mean,
people like model kits. This is kind of
People
what
like
it was
fucking
in a
Mario,
game
fucking
form.
Mario
tools,
Maker,
yeah, Mario
Yeah.
Maker, dev tools,
Minecraft.
like mod kits for every fucking Bethesda game. Like, this is something that's been well established. Players want the tool set to be able to make their own shit, and fucking Bungie gave them that, and it's a really refined tool set. You could do a lot with it. It was easy to learn, and there was a lot of depth to master. There were people who basically had second jobs designing maps on Forge, and there was a fucking underground market for that shit, and it was just it's really sad that a game that came out in 2007 that had half the dev time that Infinite did was so much more fully featured.
Yeah. And it just makes me think that maybe the team that's designing Forge is not that big, which is really bothering because if it's not that big and it's not that much of a if they don't think it's that much of a priority, and the priority is fucking putting out bigger battle passes and more skins that'll get them more money instead of actually making the game good and playable and to have people come back and play the game. Like, that's what you get. You get people back into playing the game, and then you add on these skins, these multiplayer things, these DLCs, because now we're hooked into the game. This is our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is to play Forge, play these custom maps, unlock some shit, play some multiplayer, and experience the entirety of the game. But if there's not one single piece of this game that actually draws me into it, and no, your campaign is already done, that drew me in the first time, and your multiplayer is fucking monotonous, so it's not going to bring me back into it. And no, the M392 Bandit new weapon is not going to bring me back into it. Your arena and big team battle new maps, not going to bring me back into it. It was shit to begin with.
Yeah, like, you know what would make your multiplayer less monotonous? If you added more than 2 fucking maps since release.
Yeah, it's like they just heard back in like 2001, 2002. They saw original Halo and people were like, "Oh man, I could just play Blood Gulch all the time. If it was just the one map they offered, I would play it all the time." And then they
took
shut
that
their brain
literally.
off for 2 decades.
It's God.
They're
There's
like,
just,
"Oh, we still want that."
It's
Now, if
and-
your map was as good as Blood Gulch, maybe if it was like a nice, really highly technical map that has a lot going on that you can really dig your teeth into, sure, maybe.
But even
Maybe not
then,
in this
like,
age.
I personally can only play the same map so many times. Like, even with Risk of Rain 2, like, before they added the DLC, I kind of was
Mhm.
getting a little tired
Yeah.
of some of the first stage maps. But the new map they added in, I feel like it's a nice balance where you get, I think
Right.
a nice rotation of maps there. I would like a newer Stage 3 map because I think there's still only the 2. The Rally Point Delta and
We should
Scorchakers.
look at some mods.
Yeah, we could look at some mods to see if they added any new maps. But yeah, that's gaming news, and let's get into our feature. And we wanted to be topical. We gave the death shout out last week to Queen Elizabeth, rest in peace. But what many of you may not know is that we almost would have had a much shorter reign for Queen Elizabeth.
That's true.
There was a plot back in 1980 to assassinate the Queen of England, and if it weren't for the intrepid police work of Lieutenant Frank Drebin and the rest of the police squad, LA's finest, we would have never have been born to know Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So the adventures of this group is chronicled in the movie The Naked Gun, which is what we watched this week. We wanted something topical, and I had a brainwave, a touchstone triggered in my head, and I shat out The Naked Gun.
I hadn't known this. I hadn't known this existed. It's a real eye opener. Piece of history that it's a shame that our textbooks are being whitewashed. I think mainly because they don't want us to know the truth about O.J. Simpson and how great of a man he is in his pivotal detective skills in uncovering the genesis of this plot on the Queen's
He really
life.
did a lot of the legwork.
He did.
Which is
Now-
weird because he's in a wheelchair for a lot of this movie.
He is.
Well,
he is.
everyone knows that OJ has great legs. I mean, he was a 2,000-yard rusher for the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Go Bills.
Bills.
You know,
in all
and
seriousness, Jake, did you see that? Have you seen this movie before? You've seen.
I
this,
had
right?
not. I had not seen this.
Oh,
So this
Yeah.
was a movie.
I saw
that,
Airplane.
okay.
Yeah, I love the Airplane. So this is a movie that I discovered when I used to haunt Hollywood Video. We had the MVP plan, which I've spoken about before. Let's let you get 3 movies, and there was a movie for my mom, there's a movie for me, and I think only one of my sisters was living with us at a time, so they would have the third movie. and this was one of the movies I saw there, and it looked interesting, and I watched it. I was too young to get all the jokes, but I fucking loved the stuff that I found, and this is like Airplane, a laugh a minute riot, and it's a wonderful movie that I watched this morning, and my girlfriend had never seen it before, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna fucking love it, and she was howling laughing, because it's a wonderfully funny spoof movie, which is a genre that has just died.
Yeah.
Like they don't make this kind of movie anymore, and it seems harsh to blame the Wayans brothers for the death of the spoof movie, but it doesn't seem unfair to blame the Wayans brothers for the death of the spoof
I could say they
movie.
took it down a path which made it hard to come back from, especially combined with the trend of how what even a comedy looks like nowadays. Um, yeah, it's very hard to find this I would call it this form factor for a comedy. Um, it's yeah, it's a very it relies on a lot of it's an interesting mix of like really raunchy shit, but also really innocent gags.
A lot of sight
Um,
gags, too.
mhm,
Like you have to watch the movie closely to get all the little sight gags.
mhm,
That and background stuff that happens every now and then too.
Yeah.
right.
There's
I
a lot
will
of setup.
say, um, while we're talking generally about this movie, uh, watching this and keeping an eye on the film so I could see all those gags, I realized how very strong the cinematic fundamentals are. Like they really they broke it down to basics, so it was absolutely clear the conveyance of these jokes. Like it was very clearly like they have foreground and background, and they portioned out the frame very uh measured in a very measured way. Um, really strong use of stuff like rule of thirds and sight lines to divide the frame. It even if it's just that Frank and his partner are in one half of the screen so that they can have the funny man doing a thing in the back.
Right.
Um,
So,
it's
I want to give a brief shout out before we get too much into this movie. So, the actress who plays the queen in this movie is a woman named Jeanette Charles, and she's made an entire career of playing Queen Elizabeth. So, when I clicked
Really?
on her name, it popped up two movies in my Plex server. It popped up Naked Gun, and it popped up Gold Member, which also has the queen in it, and she plays the queen. So, let me read to you her IMDb for a little bit here. Uh, Loritz Telecabinet TV movie, 1974, Queen Elizabeth II. Rutland Weekend Television, 1975, Queen Elizabeth II. Born Iraq, 1976, The Queen. Queen Kong, The Queen. Saturday Night Live, Queen Elizabeth. The Rules, All You Need Is Cash, A Queen of England. Q6, a TV series, Queen Elizabeth II. Not the 9 o'clock news, 1980, Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen Special, Queen Elizabeth. Let's see. National Lampoon's European Vacation, Queen Elizabeth. First Among Equals, HM the Queen. Tickets for the Titanic, The Queen. Ratman, The Queen. If it's Tuesday, it still must be Belgium, Queen of England. Dolly, Queen Elizabeth. Nipagish Basuvui, Queen Elizabeth II. Nipagesh Bakov, Queen of England. The Sooty Show, Queen Elizabeth II. The Naked Gun, Queen Elizabeth II. Carrot Confidential, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Day by Day, Queen Elizabeth. Never the Twain, HM the Queen. Tatort, Queen. Shining Time Station, Queen for a Day, The Queen. World of Pub, Queen Elizabeth. Austin Powers and Goldmember, The Queen. The Slammer, The Queen. Big Brother's Little Brother, The Queen. And Right of the Future, Queen.
I wonder if she had to be like approved by the
Like,
actual
you
queen.
gotta
Be
think
like,
she was like her fucking body double or some shit, right?
yeah, no, there was a story I remember where like as part of like the production crew for any event that the queen had to attend or any parade or anything, there was like a stand-in who would like he would sit where the queen sits and do queen stuff as they went through the parade so they could make sure all the camera angles and sight lines and all that shit worked out, and like there was, they could hammer out all the production issues, and that was her whole job, was like, I am the stand-in queen for the for the sound check.
Yeah.
It's so
Um,
funny. I'm looking up all the I want to see like pictures of her, and there's one.
about 29 of her 37 credits are as Queen Elizabeth or the Queen.
There's one of her standing next to Michael McDonald in Austin Powers Goldmember, and she had gray hair and everything in gold. In 2002, her last noted role is
2010.
Right the Future
Yeah.
in 2010 as the Queen. So, that's 40. That's 36 years
It's a long
of
reign
of
of
playing
movie
Queen.
queen.
Like that's she's been playing the Queen longer than King Charles will be king.
That's
I'm
probably true.
you
I
know
don't think he's gonna be king for 36 years.
Yeah, not here.
Um,
I do want to mention, like, we mentioned she was in gold member,
Yes.
right, in Austin Powers, and I don't know how much did they share in common. Like, were there any like writers or anyone who took from it? Because I see a lot of similarities, and we'll talk about a couple of the jokes in there,
Well,
which
I mean,
reminded me very much of Austin Powers.
this is foundational comedy. I'm sure
Mhm.
Mike Myers was inspired by The Naked Gun, um, just
Oh,
in his comedy career.
yeah.
As was I, as was a lot of people. Like this, Leslie Nielsen was the fucking spoof king. Like Airplane, The Naked Gun. He did a few other movies, like the Police God television show. Like he was untouchable in these kinds of roles, and the silly, goofy, like really good too, like sight gags. He was also in Hot Shots.
Hot Shots, that's the one. Yep. And the Zuckers too. Like they weren't the only guys on this, but they have a very clear, they have a very clear cinematic thumbprint. Because I watched Top Secret before this too, and having seen these so close together, I'm like, oh, I saw all like I could see. I'm like, that's absolutely a Zucker joke. That is a joke they absolutely put in themselves.
This movie
And
also
so
features Priscilla Presley.
Mm-hmm.
it's true. I don't know where she's from. What else
Well,
she's
She was in
she
a lot of the Naked Gun movies.
Okay.
She was in all three of them.
is she related to Elvis?
I believe they were married.
But
she was a lot younger than him. It was kind of controversial at the time.
Ooh,
Yeah.
controversy.
I think the thing back to this movie, I feel like it's the now this is gonna sound really fucking pretentious. It's almost Shakespearean in that it's a little cliche because, like you said, it was foundational. So it's not going to be surprising jokes, I guess, because you've seen them in other comedies that were, like we said, inspired by this one.
In some instances, yes, but in other like it's hard for me to remove myself because I've seen this movie several dozen times. So like I know all the jokes. Like I knew going in like where they were, and I still laugh at them, which I think is a testament to their quality. But with I watched it with a first time viewer, and the way Kaylee was freaking howling at some of these jokes, kind of would suggest that maybe she didn't see a lot of them coming, or they were kind of unexpected in some ways for her. But it's a lot of if you've seen Airplane, it's a lot of the same kind of humor, the goofy sight gags, the like, literal
the switcheroo jokes.
Yeah, the switcheroo, the like taking things very literally, like Like what a great example of that is when they're looking at the fibers from Norberg's jacket, and
Hmm.
Leslie Nielsen's like, I don't see anything, and it's like, use your open eye, Frank. Oh, right, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Uh, just just simple but great execution. Um, so
It it's so interesting looking through some of the trivia on here because it also kind of like goes into like the genesis of some of these jokes. So when he's impersonating the umpire and the
well,
batter
we should
swings,
say we can. I want to lead off with this. I'll just say, obviously, recommend this movie. Go watch
oh
it.
yeah,
1,000%. Like
yeah,
if
I
you've
feel like
never
with
seen
most
it,
old movies, unless they're like really crappy like the '60s like the Three Fantastic Supermen.
yeah,
If we're pulling up an old movie, that means we wanted to watch it. We would
yeah,
recommend.
yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, this trivia, Jake.
I don't think this was a spoiler or anything, but when he's impersonating the umpire, the batter swings back and hits Frank in the face. It was a joke suggested by Mel Brooks. So that's the other reason why like there's a lot of quality comedy in here is that
Oh,
you
was Mel
have
Brooks like in,
maybe he might have been a
or was he
writer.
just like on set,
I think
or
he's a friend of the Zuckers, and he just kind of like maybe did
pitched a
some
couple
uncredited
jokes?
punch ups.
No pun
But
intended.
Yeah.
they're like there's so many great jokes. Like the jokes even start with the movie poster. Like if you look at the poster, Reggie Jackson has a cameo in this movie. And when they have the villain, the queen, undercover guy, sexy blonde, the partner, the mayor, the right fielder, and it says he got paid $50,000 for 4 days of filming. So like the jokes start on the poster, and they keep going from there. Like the movie, we'll get into spoilers. The movie opens in Beirut,
Yeah.
and it's a meeting of the evil leaders of the world, and Frank Drebin infiltrates them, and he beats them all up after they insult America. And when he gets back to the U.S., so like that, the scene is there, and there's some funny gags, like he wipes the birthmark off of Gorbachev's head. He's like, I knew it.
Yeah, he does a lot of like fourth wall breaking in that scene. But
And
yeah, no,
when he
it's
gets
like
back to America, like not the scene, like the gag when he is like, they're not welcoming as a hero. They're there for Weird Al. But when they're in the car driving back to the police station, he's like, that's why I went on vacation in Beirut. Like that was his vacation. He wasn't there on business.
and it's all just layered together so that like no one joke. It's like a monkey, barrel of monkeys kind of ladder where every joke is like it's not start and end between them. So you're always getting caught off guard by a joke that wasn't the one that was set up, the most
Yeah.
recent setup. It was one they set
there's
up earlier, like
there's
the
a
baggage carts.
there's a flow to it that you're not overwhelmed by joke after joke after joke after joke to make you like laughing. It's just it's telling a story that is funny in this universe where antics take place, and it's like it's comical, and they're
Mhm.
doing different bits here and there, but they're spaced out and they're done really well. And I think it also is just 75% of it has to be the delivery that Leslie Nielsen gives.
Mhm.
Like I think you could stick another comedian in this role. I don't think they would do as good. They might do an okay job, but damn, there's something about Leslie Nielsen just like
He's a legend for
deadpan
a
giving
reason.
these answers that are delivering these lines that are just amazing.
I mean, even
it
this,
takes
this
a good
is an
straight man.
airplane. Yeah, this is an airplane, but like thinking back to him in that role, it's like we need to get to a hospital. What's that? It's a building with sick people in it, but that's not important right now.
That's not important right now. It really is a fine art that I feel is one of the things that has been lost to well, I wouldn't say it's been lost to the internet age of comedy, because obviously it's going to be out there, but I feel like comedies have trended towards there is no straight man.
I feel like they lack, because it's difficult to be the straight man, and there's not a lot of glory in it. Like
Mm-hmm.
people who are you know wise to like the structure of comedy and like how joke composition works appreciate a good straight man and recognize that like the reason the zany character is funny is because they have the straight man to play off of. But I feel like a lot of modern comedy writers just look at the the zany character makes you laugh. The straight man's not important. We don't need it. And as a result, you have a bunch of like crazy characters, and there's nothing to ground the audience in it. So even though the zany antics should be funny, a lot of times it doesn't have the same impact that it would if there were a good straight man to play off of.
We're gonna beat a dead horse here, a ghostly horse. But I just immediately when I think of that, like how like everyone talks about in Ghostbusters. In Ghostbusters, everyone talks about how funny who's Venkman?
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Everyone talks about how funny Bill Murray is, but no one people don't. Not as many people I feel like prop up Harold Ramis,
who's
for
fucking
being
hilarious in that movie.
Yes. Meanwhile, in 2016 Ghostbusters, where everyone and they're all doing their own improv.
There was no straight man. There was no grounded straight man, and that's why a lot of the comedy in that movie didn't work. That's a great point, Peter. That is a great example of exactly what I was just talking about. Modern comedy writers don't appreciate the value of the straight man. They don't understand comedy well enough to know that you need the straight man for the zany character to work.
Bounce it off. And this also works on like multiple levels in Naked Gun, in that of course Leslie Nielsen he's the straight man. He plays it all straight, but
he does zany shit,
right? And they contrast all of this. It surprised me that they made this decision, but I mean, from what we're talking about, it makes sense. The jokes only happen when the police squad are in the scene. Because you remember that scene when it's Ricardo Montalban's character, and who's the lady?
Vincent
Priscilla
Ludwig
Presley.
and Priscilla, the girl Priscilla.
And they have that scene where he's trying to you need to keep tabs on him, on Frank, and you need to seduce him. And there's no jokes in that scene. There are no jokes at all in that scene. That is just straight plot.
Yeah, there are a couple exceptions or bending of that rule, like when the criminal conspirator goes into Ludwig's office and he shows off the assassin, the sleeper assassin technology.
Yes.
And the maid, when she snaps out of it, is like, "Oh, there's a gun on the floor." That's kind of a joke, but it's not the same type of joke.
Yeah.
That's in the police squad scenes.
It's
there's
not
there's that level of oh, that's kind of a funny quip, a big juxtaposition from she was just trying to murder him a second ago. It's oh, there's this gun on the floor.
Yeah.
Should I take care of that? Versus when Frank rolls up to whatever thing and the airbag goes off and his car starts fucking driving down the way and he shoots it, it blows up and fucking
but
didn't even get the license on that car.
They had consistency though, because did they ever show him with his car again?
I don't think
so.
so.
Next scene.
Oh, they did? Okay.
He's driving.
Oh, was
again.
it?
But it's funny either way.
Yes, you're how to get the car back? It works on either level, or maybe it was a different car, but he's driving a car later on, but
because then later we have him in the student driver car chase.
Well,
which is
that was a
fantastic
different chase. Which that scene was great. I was okay, you gotta watch this because the scene's fantastic. I still quote that all the time, where I'm extend your arm. Extend your middle finger.
Very good.
That's a classic scene.
Now, normally you would not be going 65 down the wrong way of a one-way street.
Go get him, Stephanie. Okay.
I feel like that scene is almost a little departure from a lot of the other Zucker's work and from other scenes in this movie, and that is it is an extended sequence playing on one joke, when I feel like a lot of the other comedy scenes are rapid fire jokes on a lot of different little things that aren't necessarily one joke that goes on for a while.
But you kind of it works to have that variety in your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of variety in this. It wasn't the same it wasn't the same thing over and over again. Like you said with Leslie Nielsen, like split portraying like the straight man and also doing the wacky hijinks, like with the fish and the
Yeah, the
fish
pen and the
biting
fish.
him and stinging him in the water and him doing all the hijinks with the water there. That was him in more of a goofy role. And you kind of had Vincent Ludwig be the straight man in that and be I'm not gonna mention anything or see what you're doing behind my back.
Right.
And it was really well done. And I think
Yeah.
it was like efficiently done as well, to where nothing was overdone, nothing was too much and devalued the comedy in other scenes. Whereas this was tasteful and it told
Yeah.
the story too. It wasn't.
It's a fine line that a spoof movie like Date Movie or Disaster Movie has no concept of.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the on the plot kind of side, that is a strength of when you have a good spoof movie. What you do is you take a well-known and well-established plot and you put the jokes into it. Like this was a bog standard noir thriller with a weird tech twist
Yeah.
in the mind control. Austin Powers originally was like just
It's a standard James Bond kind of plot
with a time travel or a time fish out of water twist.
Yeah.
Um, so that you shouldn't be having to think about what's going on. And I wouldn't say that modern comedies have problems with that. Like even in like Stuber, that wasn't too bad. Wasn't great, it wasn't too bad. But this one it kept it really straight and simple, and it lets those with who are a little more genre savvy or who watch a lot in that genre, they that also works as a subversion of tropes. Are like, oh, it's the seduction scene where she's in his apartment and trying to
fucking sex scene with the full body condoms. Fucking
The
Makes
other
me
thing
laugh
that
every
got me
time.
about that is I didn't realize it, but he's like it was nearly like midnight until I got home, and like he got home, it's midnight. He's like, but my night just began. It's midnight, but she's making you a roast, and then you're gonna eat the roast, and you're gonna have dinner at like what 1 a.m.
it's the little things, yeah.
and then you're gonna fuck.
And that's one of the things I bet you they didn't even like necessarily intend that to be a joke. That's just one of those things where if you put all the pieces in and it's just an emergent comedic properties.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about this before we went into spoilers, and now that we're in spoilers, I can talk about it. The piss scene in this shares a lot with the piss scene in Austin Powers.
Yeah.
It is a classic joke.
Who stole from who?
Well, obviously this
Austin
movie
Powers.
came out in 1988. And
I don't
Austin Powers
know.
came out in 1997. So
I don't know. I
think they're different
Mike
enough where I
Myers.
wouldn't call it stolen, because like the gag here is the kind
That
of
he's-
embarrassment that like this is
Mhm.
just like a theoretical thing where like what if you went into the bathroom with a hot mic, and like this is a joke that shows up in 30 Rock years later.
It's a joke that shows up in actual streaming. I know fucking Pay Money Wubby. He'll go and take he'll rock a piss with his hot mic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's a well established trope, but like it's great in this scene because here's this big press conference, the mayor's like talking about all the preparations they're making for the Queen's visit, and first off his mic doesn't work, so he needs to get a new mic, and he gives his very straightforward, like, we're gonna do our best work to ensure that the Queen's visit is safe and memorable for her. And he goes to the bathroom and he's still got the hot mic on, and he's
Well, it's even great
And he
too because
doesn't
he
even
also
know, yeah.
he throws a little aside in there as well. He's like, even though it's kind of weird to us in America,
Yeah,
you still have a
even though we
queen.
might not, it might be silly
Yeah.
to us to have a queen.
And that's those like layered jokes that are
Yeah.
getting chained together. And they even set up at the beginning of the scene, they set it up where he drinks like a whole fucking he drinks an entire bottle or a glass of water
Yeah.
as the judge is giving the setup to the scene. Like, and that's a little mini joke in and of itself where he's like
Gotcha.
drinking an entire pitcher's worth of water.
I totally missed that part. I thought you were leading to like, oh, he maybe shorted his mic out himself or
That
something like
also
that.
could be it.
Yeah,
But
but that's good.
that was the joke there, is that like she's
Yeah.
doing it in the foreground and he's just like chugging this entire glass of water in one pull.
Yeah.
Um,
So to go back on like the like what happens during the movie. So he's basically at first set to like lead her security while she's touring LA. The Queen, that is. And there was like an event that night that he's going to be a part of, and they're all set for that until he makes some blunders and is trying to also figure out clear his partner's name, well, maybe not even his partner, but his co-worker.
Yeah, they're. I
Uh,
mean, partners in that they're both on police squad.
yeah. So Nordberg, or is that his name is?
Yes.
Yeah, Nordberg, who's played by O.J. Simpson, is shot up a bunch of times and has this very comical, close to assassination scene in the beginning. Is on like life support and he's trying to like pass along what he knows about the criminals that he encountered who did that
another
to him.
foundational piece of comedy is the beating up the man in the hospital bed
Classic.
Yeah.
We love that.
comedy.
We
Which
stand for
happens
that.
a couple of times, and like that,
Yeah.
the running joke with his character is constantly getting beat up. Like at the end where he's in the wheelchair, it's like I'm gonna be
Hey.
back to work before you know it. He just like wheels down, he fucking gets flung onto the field.
Yeah, dumped over the railing. Yeah,
So he's still in it. He's trying to give his stuff out and or give his
His
information
role in the
out.
sequel, which while the sequels aren't quite as good, I still think they're funny enough to warrant watching. His role in the sequel, O.J. Simpson's, is much bigger.
Probably because they got pretty good reception out of him in this, and then
Yeah, he did
They
a
were like,
fine
he got-
job. I mean, if you set aside from the fact that he probably killed two people, he's a talented comedic actor.
So we got that, and then we have he's trying to hunt down this case a little bit, and that introduces him to Ricardo Montalban's character,
Victor
Vincent
Ludwig.
Ludwig,
Oh, Vincent.
who got the part due to his performance as Khan Nooney Singh in Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
Khan.
So I didn't realize he was the Wrath of Khan guy.
Well, he's
oh yeah, that was like his primo role.
Yeah.
That and pure Corinthian leather.
I'm not a Trekkie.
Well, neither am I, but I still know Wrath of Khan.
I'm no Trekkie.
It's that, and again the car commercials for
Yeah.
I want to say was it Rolls Royce or Oldsmobile?
Yeah, he's also in.
He's done a bunch of stuff.
a couple of the Planet of the Apes sequels.
Mm-hmm. But he is the
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban.
So he plays the antagonist,
Mm-hmm.
and Frank has to suss him out and get some evidence on him, get some dirt, and that's where he also meets Priscilla Presley's
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Is that what his name is? Whatever.
No.
Presley's
Mm-hmm.
Miss Presley.
Miss Presley's character. I can't forget. Yeah, Priscilla. Yeah. Why? That's such a weird. Change it.
Okay.
Stop. He's dead. That's where we get Miss Presley's character coming in. Jane Spencer, who's a love interest in this. And she immediately flirts with him, and they have their interesting scenes. And she's portrayed in the beginning as a bit of a klutz, but I don't really remember that like coming off too much more throughout the movie.
Yeah, not
like
not
bumping into
particularly.
things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
That's a
I
good
was
thing
hoping
about
that would have a
movies that
bigger
move this
payoff.
fast is like if there's something that doesn't quite work, you just go and it doesn't
Yeah.
stick around long. Like a lot of the time sensitive jokes or era sensitive jokes,
Yeah.
which I don't. They went so so
They
fast that
weren't
I don't
too
even
many.
fuck
Like I think
remembering
the
them.
one that I kind of remember is they went to a movie and they're laughing and having a good time,
Oh, it's
and then it shows
Platoon.
up it's Platoon, which is not
A
a movie
gruesome war
that you're
movie.
gonna fucking
Yeah,
laugh at.
exactly.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
if you
like
didn't know,
this.
you still kind of got it.
Yeah,
And
they. It's basically he's trying to find evidence to link him to this, and he falls in love with Jane, and their love overcomes the brainwashing at the end of the movie. They're at the baseball game, and he has to. One of the players is going to commit the assassination, so he does a bunch of hijinks to suss out who that is, and they stop the thing. One of my favorite gags in that is he takes off his mask, and they think he's the opera singer, and they start
Yeah.
chanting the opera singer's
that one
name.
just I forgot about that joke, and they just straight pulled the rug out from under me. That actually got me. It's Enrico Palazzo.
Palazzo, Palazzo.
So, I will say again, classic plot device. This mind control. It would be later used in a really big comedy film. I know some of you might know it, Black Widow.
Yes.
Oh, I love that movie.
Very funny movie.
So funny.
Yeah. This movie is much better than that. And I go watch it. Like that, we can't do it justice talking about here. So we'll
And
just,
we wouldn't. I don't want to spoil jokes.
yeah, we'll just let you enjoy it for yourselves and wrap up here on this episode of the Saturn Studs podcast. Stay tuned to our Twitter for more deets about our return to Twitch, which will be coming up soon. Twitch TV /Saturn Studs. If you want to preemptively follow, you can go ahead and do that, and you won't be disappointed, I hope. saturnstuds.com, place to go for links to our YouTube channel, old episode archives, all that sort of shit. Anything you need. Peter's having facial tics, so we'll get out of here.
I'll just keep
Post-haste.
blinking until it shows.
Until next time, be well, stay safe, and party like it's 1995.
Peace.
Bye bye.